31st. So, just wanna talk to you guys about that. We can send the preliminaries and we can get it in on the 31st.
What's the grant and what's the amount?
So it's, like the candy tour people got like $40,000. From my understanding, there's a couple of, there was $3 million that was given to Visit Macon to help with tourism for people that were impacted through COVID. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, well, part of what I'm talking about. So we're gonna submit for ours, we do Black reunion, we're gonna do Black Expo, we can do Black anything. But we have to have it done on by 31st.
Okay, and how much are we asking for?
I was gonna ask for, beer, and then let them talk it down,
What's the total pot available?
but they're not gonna go for 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hey, Macon Arts got like 50, we're part of, you know, I don't think they have it in the website, but we may just put it in. For Disney, I think the match was like 50,000.
Well, do you have the details of what you want to do something?
Or similar to what we, estimated for our Black family reunion coordination.
But that's fine, as long as, you know, I know you gotta add.
But we can submit more than one.
No, I'm not questioning, I'm just saying that I just wanna feel what we gonna be doing with what we ask for.
And in this form, right now, you have some other suggestions that we can do, we can submit for two more, you know, additional if you want to. And then secondly, our office is gonna sponsor, 3 different things, we're gonna have a proclamation on the 16th. For Black Business Month, we did last year, we're gonna have unsung heroes and, something on the 31st, we had last year. And then we'll have a small Black business dinner with.
Me personally, I can go like that.
As you are, you know, if you get bingo, then you can come and win an award or some kind of surprise. We got retail makers, a couple others that are gonna be doing prizes.
Ain't been listening at all.
When is that?
That's gonna be a week, that's gonna be the second week.
Ain't been listening at all.
August.
So the proclamation is on the 16th.
Yes,
What time?
6 o'clock.
So that bingo week is the Sunday to, Saturday or Monday to Friday?
It's Monday through Sunday.
Monday through Sunday, so the 8th through the 14th.
Yes.
Now I can make Athens.
You gotta get Athens on the 16th?
No, I had you guys on the second. Athens, I gotta check. It's either Henry County or Newton. But I'll let you know. All right.
I mean, I'm calling Marindale, if y'all wanna try to do it on Saturday, or just.
No. I mean, either one. I mean, just move forward with what works best for the majority. It's not important that I'm actually there at this one. But I think the big thing I want us to talk about is while we're doing the proclamation this year and the goal with the proclamation this year. And I'll give you guys some insight of what's happening with some of the other counties.
Seems like they wanted to do an assistant so we can announce the honorees for the upcoming luncheon. You know, who's gonna be on it, you know, who's gonna honor him. I think that was the rationale.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I guess,
So, Mr. Habersham, I got the email.
okay, you don't know who that is, but it's, what is it, the Black, essentially go to the Black Gilbert Fund with, Tony Kabir. You know, so she called me and evidently people know that we gaining traction with, CGAAV. And, you know, they've already talked talked about what they wanna do in connection with, Black Business Month, and they also want to kind of incorporate, you all got, I sent it to everybody, I sent an email, I don't know what I need one of you all forward, but the long and short of all, they talking about some kind of, seminar, a 1 hour seminar, that, and then they want, I just hope, ex-guy, what's his name? To Quantas, you know, to make the presentation, and for an hour, and what they're saying is that they wanna have a 1 hour seminar, and it's gonna be on financial planning, and, you know, that's tied to generational wealth, and wanted somebody also to kind of emphasize the importance about giving the funds. Well, my feelings are that we don't ever wanna be in a position where we don't support something that's connected with what we do. But I think that we need to control our involvement, you know, because we haven't made any decisions as to who's gonna be the presenter, where it's gonna be, how much it's gonna cost. You know, because I would have chosen somebody with a whole lot more experience to do a seminar on financial planning than the Quantas. Like Billy, or even the guy who was in, Eric Manson, you know, who's been doing things. But that's okay, that's just, you know. So my suggestion is, so I told her I would come before the group, you know, because they had come to us and asked for some involvement. So I think all we can do at this point, since we got our own events planned, is just say we'll be willing to show up and announce it to the coalition. But I don't know, you know, whether we ought to latch on as I'm throwing it out, it's up to the group as a co-sponsor of that event, when we haven't really had a role, because when she came to me this week, you know, she told me everything that had been planned, you know, and I don't want you to come to me and ask me to partner with something when I have not had, if there were an opportunity, if I have not had any opportunity for input. But she came to me, you know, and I'm a member of the Black Gilbert Fund or whatever it is. So I think that we ought to support it. I'll do them some blasts. You know, we can even encourage the members to attend. But I'm not sure that we ought to be that lenient, with our logo as a sponsor.
Okay, and when we get into situations like this, Mr. Habersham, and I know we can kind of put it in as a note for how we, you know, when we take requests or considerations for events. I love what you said about um, if somebody is, we should be always involved in the planning process for most events when it comes to our involvement with it. Does the event create opportunities for our members to be speakers that we know who have been vetted as experts in the subject matter space, or be able to lend them out via our speakers bureau or circuit, so to speak, within our membership, because that's a good branding for us as well. But like you said, neither one of those opportunities, I guess, presented themselves since they have the event already scheduled. As it relates to support, we could always, and what's going to happen is that as the call becomes more and more valuable, that's why a lot of the conference calls with all of the different markets are very important, because you can have 20 to 30 to 50 people on any given call. And that is a great platform to allow people to announce their events and activities in. And that is a show of support in an instance, because again, that is value that comes from that conference call platform. And then maybe, I don't know if we want to just post their fly out on social media or something to that effect. So those are some things that we could offer in terms of getting the word out. That would be my suggestion based off of what you're telling us.
Yeah, I fully agree that, you know, the thing that I'm very careful of, Mike, is a plantation mentality, a crab in a bucket mentality.
Right, right.
One of the things that has held us back for 200 years is that, you know, all the hating and not working together. So I don't have a problem with you know, supporting it peripherally, but, you know, and I think, you know, so we'll put a blast out for them, but I don't know, I don't think we, you know, but I mean, sometimes when a logo is on something, that doesn't mean that you're running it, that a logo can mean support. So if the group wanna say, well, we'll say, I don't know, you all have to make that decision as it relates to how or why.
No, we support what you're saying, and I think the one way we can, kind of go the narrative of our proclamation, not to say black business, not to say black business month. And then this is the Central Coalition and partnership, yada, yada. I think that can help.
That's a good idea, include them in the, I like that. Well, what about the use of the logo?
I say logo stamps that you
Yeah,
have.
it does. The logo puts more credibility towards your involvement in it. And we hadn't even had a chance to really use the logo ourselves before we put it on somebody else's stuff.
Oh, let's move on, we got a lot of stuff. We said no on the logo, but yes on.
We will support them in their event, but we're not going to stamp it and say that we have a part of this.
Now what happens? Because having your vote next to your logo is a big thing for the black community. Our vote is bigger than that.
But he's not withholding.
Okay, so
He's not withholding to what I think, and that's what bothers me.
okay.
I think he is with a financial planning firm, so they're making him the presenter. And now she didn't tell me that, she kept saying, I can't remember the name of who he's with. Well, that was kind of suspect, but the mayor didn't fund Hope.
Yeah.
So I think,
He's not operating costs, when we started the process, we could not show the data of who them serving. And you know, their mill is all about data. And it's just simple, so they had to come and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and they did not do that, so we did not do it.
but they have to, he got another job.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I will get back with Tanya, and I think it's a noble gesture that we're gonna include black philanthropy as a part of black business and black philanthropy. So that's a pretty big step in and of itself. And then, it's okay if we tell the group that we're supporting, you know, as it relates to marketing it to our members, and then those of us who can't come will go to the event.
We post like what we have flyers.
Huh?
We post it in the like group in like in like the newsletter stuff like we do any other flyer.
Okay.
But she doesn't fill out membership application. Because seriously, though, that's what, you know,
Yeah.
they just aim for, you know, whatever that, millionaire thing, aim takes a leader thing.
I know it, but
They need to fill out some kind of paperwork before we
she is a member, I'm telling you.
Tanya is?
Yeah, she's on our list, I know. She's a member. But she, I mean, in words only, but she a member, just like that lady who came down with that last week. You know, I asked her, what you doing here? Why you on this call? Okay, one other thing, 'cause I know you got this on.
I'll email it to you. Or so you want me to text it to you?
That's okay, okay.
Oh, it's in the it's in that group text, me, you, Mike, me, and yeah.
Man. Wow.
You mean with the city? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Jeff is on our, so I'm gonna chime in too.
Okay, now, let's remember that, you know, we got the call, we got the call tomorrow evening.
Mm-hmm.
We changed the time.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Me told them, but we're gonna be asking their opinion, all this stuff. We'll ask them tomorrow. Send what I.
They'll figure it out when they get the email tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, it's been a long week.
But we'll do one tonight.
Yeah, send it out tonight. Yeah,
I'm gonna send something out like,
Okay.
yeah, y'all will be surprised. I bet y'all get more attendance. Probably about 40 folks will be on that call.
So, Rick, so we need to be prepared to talk about what we're gonna do for Black Business Month, because that's
Correct.
the substance of our meeting tomorrow, since we are not having a guest speaker. You know, so in the details, I mean, you know, you can take the lead in talking about the activities. One thing that I wanna do, and I want somebody like small, like either, Brittany or Tracy. I think that we need to garner a campaign to put more pressure on people to be more supportive of black businesses, not just in Black Business Month, but can we get some action items, you know, spend $200 this month with a black business and bring us receipts, and we'll, you know, the one who spends the most money, I know it's kinda late, but I think we have to do something to generate more conscientiousness as it relates to what we really could accomplish if we were to try to keep more of that money in our own thing instead of community.
I can speak to that tomorrow evening, Mr. Everson.
Yeah, but we don't know we doing that, and I agree with you. She hard, she rough, I'm telling you. But then, what you said, Mike, I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, I can speak on that tomorrow evening. Yeah, if I could get with, I don't want to put this on Rick, but if I could just get the logo, and then we could put the slide presentation together for the organization, and it'll give them more of a visual aid. And then Sharice can talk on the black business stuff. I can talk on the goals, and then tie it into the launch of the Black Page. I think all of that can be kind of tied in so they know where we're going. Thoughts?
so the logo is already in the, is Michelle Sharice? Oh, okay. So the logo, little in, the logo is
Yeah, like,
already,
where's that?
it's in the shared Google Drive file, Google folder.
Okay. So, so you want to drop it while we here?
The logo,
Membership.
you talking about the pricing and stuff? I missed that part.
I just said it. It wasn't
All right, hold on.
making these folks official. It's time. This is fundraising time now.
So you said you want to talk about that on tomorrow?
Well, not really. I mean, we can talk about and that's up to the group. I just think it's time for people to start thinking about making a contribution. We are Black Business Month, Black Philanthropic Month. We are a nonprofit, so and then I think to Mr. Haversham's point, we got to start putting people in the mindset of why this organization exists, reiterating the wealth gap, reiterating that we are addressing, particularly as we're in this inflationary times, our community is definitely being challenged. Nobody is thinking about Black folks but us. That coming together that Mr. Haversham talked about, and he can really talk about that from a historical perspective of when we did, when we didn't, where we are now. Just kind of briefly, and I know we'll touch more on it throughout the month, is why are we celebrating Black Business Month and Black Philanthropic Month, and what does it mean? Really being able to articulate that. And we have goals each year that we're trying to achieve. But more importantly, we got Christmas coming. All right, that's gonna be a short time. People are gonna be in the Christmas spirit. We got Kwanzaa week. We got the National Apprenticeship Week. It's a couple of date points that we want to highlight and get people prepared for and thinking about. This being an evening call, I know we can get more participation, like Pastor Little and a couple of other folks and businesses. We can really talk about that business, community, government piece. We can really get folks signed up and have them to make a financial commitment by the end of the month. That's my thoughts.
And with, can I piggyback on that, Michael? Do you think since Chanja is wanting to participate more with our group, and since they are a fund, that maybe they can make an announcement that they want to support the Central Georgia Coalition of African American Businesses with some type of sponsorship?
Now tell me about Tanja. Now you said she got a fund, FUND.
Yes.
Central Georgia Black Gift Safe,
Empowerment Fund.
Central Georgia Empowerment Fund, which is a nonprofit organization that designed specifically for black philanthropy to support primarily nonprofit business. Right?
And what is their funding source?
Well, at one point they got, I think, like either $50,000 or $250,000 from the community foundation to kind
Okay.
of get it off the ground.
Right,
But
and then they
I-
also have a donor base, because
They-
I'm one of their donors.
I am too.
Yeah.
And then you pledge so much money annually to that fund, and then they kind of
They
disperse.
regrant it, and you have a vote for all of the projects that make an application. And last year, the max amount of the, award was 6,000, and I think the lowest award was probably about 1,800. However, it served very well for the demographic of our grassroots community here. And it wasn't even really low hanging fruit for them. It was more of like a gold standard that they were able to get funded somewhere because of the disparities that they face. So as the fund grows, I think it will be a good opportunity. And she did ask in that email if she would have an opportunity to make an appearance at one of the events that the group will go.
And so I just need, just for clarification purposes, the fund has been in existence for how long?
2 years?
Yeah. Cause
And
they're,
then and they and since its existence, they have awarded how much have they dispersed?
I don't know the total amount of what they dispersed along those ranges of the numbers that I said before, between 1,800 and 6,000. I know that there were over 20 applicants that were sent to me as a donor to be able to vote on. But I kind of was out of the process for another reason, so I don't know how many out of those applicants, and if there were more than the ones that I received to vote on. So
We can,
I got
Mike, I don't have a problem with, she's a member of the coalition.
right.
She participated. The only thing I've heard from her was when she wanted us to support this, but I mean, you get more out of working together, and we're in control of it, so she's not gonna be in control of it. So we can invite her, to the meeting, and they want to do something for Black Business Month, and you mentioned yourself.
Well, yeah, she would be a great tie-in. She's like, when we talk about philanthropic month, it ties in perfectly in terms of her taking that role in anchor. I think which was already mentioned. I was just trying to get an idea. I don't want us to be asking for funding from her fund. I don't think that's appropriate in terms of our where we're trying to position ourselves and where we stand at. So, yeah, I was trying to get an idea of that.
Our 501. When we get our 501, I can hit somebody over the head to get it. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I can get her some money.
Yeah. So, but back to what I was saying on the present, like just the traditional slide deck, guys, that we can present for the evening sessions where they really understand what we're talking about when we talk about business, community, government, and some of the roles. I think at a high level, that is what we talk about, where they can see where they fit into the organization. And Sharice, showcasing the month, and Mr. Havisham talking about it from a collaboration point of view, and we're touching what does all of this lead to. We're going from Black Business Month, we're going through the launch of the new Black Pages, its impact and significance to the community, and what do we do as we prepare to go into not only the football season but the holiday season. So those are some things that we need to be looking at as we position our finances, and then just some different programs in terms of how we support our community. and really opening up our portal where people can start joining. That's I think that's the big thing. It's time for people to put some skin in the game, so they feel that they have a vested interest into the organization, so we can really differentiate who is supporting the organization. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, we have not mentioned a word about sponsors and things like that, so I think it's really time. Mike, if there is some other chamber, that has a membership dynamics or template in place, that way we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, we could agree on the amount, but as it relates to, membership, we need to kind of know the process that we're gonna do. If somebody writes us a check, how much it's gonna be, where's it gonna go, who's gonna be the treasurer, stuff like that. But we've been kind of winging this thing for, and I didn't know, but we've had 17 meetings.
Yeah, y'all have donated. I would say that y'all have donated a lot of value, particularly with what y'all been dropping. Y'all have been dropping some nice nuggets for free.
Yeah, we've had 17 different free speakers,
Yeah.
Kabbalah told me that today because he's doing that editing. So, I mean, we've been, since late March, so it's time to, give him
Brittany, you want to talk about the pricing? Because I think we figured out, we came up with like a suggested pricing based off the research from the other organizations' membership. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, so, okay, so the first thing was, I think we kind of separated it into, or did you want to do that, go on that one, pricing that we was talking about the last time?
Share it with the group. Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out.
Okay, so the main
You-
was the one with the, $25 to get started. And then the monthly subscription is $12.50 plus the PayPal fee, which ends up coming up $13.46 per month, for the year. Oh.
What
And
happened? What happened? What did they say?
so the trader just said, I can do that.
Exactly. You see what? See the psychology of Brittany. I told you that. He was like, I can do that, and I'm gonna tell you guys.
Well, I disagree with you. with that payment structure.
Why?
Well, because I think it's tedious and I don't think people are gonna do it. I think maybe you need to, I
What
don't
you mean
think
it's
you.
tedious? Why is it tedious?
May I please speak?
Yeah. If
Because
that's,
if
I'm
you
talking
had-
about.
Hey, Mr. Havisham, listen to the whole plan first. She started with the membership.
To solicit that money every month.
That's what
Automatic.
I was trying to tell you. You're on faulty ground, sir. It's automatic payment. So your whole
Yeah.
argument is built off of.
You better be glad we're in this room. You know what?
Y'all gotta stop it. All right, kids, check this out, kids. So, Ms. Havisham, we got a flat rate. So what? I wish she had started with the top, and then save down to the bottom. So, tell them. Let's start with the higher prices. So what we did, we looked at the local chambers prices.
Yeah, first of all, let me apologize for not listening, because if I had listened to that, then I would have said it.
Okay. Well, she didn't finish. Thank you, Mr. Havisham. Brittany, you okay? Say okay, Mr. Havisham. Y'all don't stop it. Y'all stop
I'm
it.
okay with you, Mike. I'm okay with you, but not with Brittany, I'm telling you that.
Y'all got to stop it. All right. So we looked at the the local chambers pricing structure, and theirs it's pretty intensive. You know what I'm saying? It's like based off of employees and all this kind of stuff. So what I typically tell chambers to do, whatever the metro chamber, your local chamber is charging, take off 30%, and you should be in the ball game. So that's typically what you will see as a model for, I think, the Atlanta Black Chamber. They're now up to, we started out back in the day at $50 to $150 to $250 to now I think it's like $300 and something dollars. But that's Atlanta. Athens Chamber charges, I think, $150 in membership, and I think $250, and I think there's small business, like we're talking about like banks and corporations are $500 plus. So what Brittany came up with was, what do we come down to? The top membership for, like, if I'm a bank, if I'm Truist Bank, how much would I pay?
500.
500. So any of those institutions like a Truist Bank or school systems, if it's just one department, not the whole school system, it's an individual who has maybe some budget authority, and they can write a check up to $500 or $1,000. That's where we start those conversations at. A small business, Brittany, is at what?
So the 500, it was, just for clarification, 375 was going towards membership, and the remaining 125 was going towards some kind of grant.
Okay.
Something to be able to disseminate funds for other people. General membership was recommended at 125 if you do a lump sum, 225 for mid-sized businesses. And then that's when we get the, it had 325 in there, but I think we was trying to just work out those tiers. There was like an extra tier that we had in there. But then like the executive membership, we said it starts at 500.
So if I take that monthly rate, right? What did we calculate with the monthly rate at that rate? How much would that add up to annually?
So with the PayPal fee, it's $161.52. And then, but we did say that they will pay that 25 up front, so that will be taken out of that 161. So like 25 is that first, so they get their first 2 months already at once, and then the rest of it is like comes up to be like 136. But that's with the PayPal fees and all that stuff, the PayPal
Right.
charge.
So you guys, how do y'all feel about the general membership at 150? How do you think that will fly in the market?
I like it.
Okay. All right. So the general membership that we're proposing is 150. Now, if I want to just join, I might not have the 150 that night. Well, you can put $25 down, and then we will bill you in a reoccurring payment process of the, what is 13? What was it?
1346.
Right. And let me tell you guys this. This is what I learned from the change. For some whatever reason, again, this is disposable income sometimes to a business. Sometimes it's important to them to be a part of a membership-based organization. Sometimes it's not. So what we noticed that when we was at like the 150s, the 350s, depending on what their anniversary date was, and we say, hey, it's time to join. Sometimes, depending on if that business is struggling or not struggling, they would renew, and then you had a higher churn rate. Before I left the organization like 7 years ago, I subscription started getting very, very popular. When I invoked that subscription model, that member became a more valuable member than the members that paid that one flat rate every year. And that 150 will actually end up probably being about $500 more over a period of time. So where a lot of people just are attracted to it, oh, $12, $13 a month, I can do that. Now the other thing, because they are on a reoccurring payment plan that's being taken out of their account, that's what they're agreeing to, that being taken out of their account every month. We could also monitor if a member was having financial problems. So let's say we processed the payment 1 month and it didn't go through. Say, okay, the system will automatically do it again, like 2 weeks later, or whatever the case may be. It didn't go through. And so what it did for me was that I could tell when a person was having a little financial problem. I'm like, hey, let me call them up. Hey, everything okay with your business? Hey, we're gonna credit you this month and blah blah blah. And they really appreciated that. But it also helped us to kind of proactively help our members out that may have been going through a financial difficulty during that time. So I just want y'all to, those are some other kind of built-in systems that we can utilize when we're looking at that. And all this is done through PayPal. Now, when we get to a point where the fees are exceeding what we need to do in terms of processing, then we'll change into another system. But starting out, PayPal should be sufficient enough. We can set up the recurring payment. We'll put $25 down. 13 whatever a month, or you got the other members that can pay 150, and then we have the other membership categories that we can use however we see fit. But I think from what I'm hearing tonight, we want to go with a general membership of 150, and we can incorporate the $25 down as recurrent payment per month. And I love the fact that somebody already endorsed it in the room. I can pay that. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm telling you, you guys, I love that mode. That's like the check cashing place or whatever. It is a beautiful thing for those people to pay $25 down, because I've seen a lot of wives, friends, husbands sometimes will sponsor different members as well. So just something to think about.
What's gonna be the fee for a business that can use them on the website?
That's when we can use those other categories. So share the other category pricing points.
It was just a 225 and a 325.
So you can use that 325 and 225. So let's say if they want to, we can use that. We can get them in a Black Pages, or we can get them in a directory or something like that. So y'all may want to use those other categories. So take that 150 away, and y'all can play with those other categories in terms of numbers. But I think for a business like Truist or SunTrust, they need to start out making Georgia with a relationship of $500. That's not for Truist. It's just for that executive to have membership. If the bank branch wants to be a member, then y'all need to start talking about $1,000. Don't be afraid of it. Because if I can get $1,000 out of a bank and add Georgia, I still did get $1,000 out of a bank. Making Georgia.
Coach still got him starting over me. Shit, run up in an athlete though, brother. That boy nice on the feet. And I ain't say he wasn't nice, but I'm just saying, keep it 100.
Say that again.
I think it's 500,000.
Yeah, because you guys are in a listen, that's a whole nother level. Like I'm just talking about that one, but you're talking about when you're joining as an organization like that. Because how many members does that include when Newtown? Any person from Newtown can attend that meeting as a member, right?
Yeah, it's just 10 of them. I'm getting the Truist model, they do it to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And we have those categories. That's your sponsors. That's a sponsorship rate. But right now I'm just talking about individuals.
And
All right.
I asked something earlier about the 501.
Oh, I was talking about, do y'all have bylaws, all that good stuff? Packages of what the sponsorship would be? Cause I know that.
Yeah, all of that is being worked out now. Yep. And we'll have that. I definitely have that ready for us. We'll highlight that at the end of the month. So what we'll let everybody know is basically the Black Business Month. What we'll do is use this as a roundup campaign for membership,
Which one sounds better?
and we can use our event to showcase the sponsorship package and information as well. What you do is that you have your charter members, and then the first, and y'all can cap it, the first 25 or the first 100 will be considered the founding membership class.
I think we did. We said first 50 or 100.
Yeah, and y'all can determine how many y'all want to do. And then their anniversary month will be August. We can always celebrate. So everybody has an anniversary. So the way the membership will run annually will be the month in which they join.
And then so for the
And that's better than where, like some organizations say, well, membership ends January, so then, you're not a full member till January next. That's too confusing. You get more value when you can say, okay, this is your anniversary month. Your anniversary month is August. So if you had 50 people that joined in August, you can at least expect at least 80. You want to at least capture 80% of those individuals returning for membership as well. So we like to highlight, hey, August members, y'all membership is coming up in due, and so on and so forth, so they know to continue. But most of the people that's on the automatic payment, they never stop paying.
okay. Were there any other